Here's the reality that most Forex trading YouTubers aren't willing to tell you. The reality is that day trading Forex is actually really difficult. You've probably heard the statistics, right? That 95% of traders end up failing and only 5% of traders actually end up becoming successful. So if that's the case, then why are we even going on this journey where we know the stats are completely stacked against us? In this video, I'm going to explain to you why most Forex traders ultimately fail, and I'm going to explain to you what it takes to actually become part of the 5%. If you do the things in this video, then the likelihood of you becoming in the 5% of profitable traders increases dramatically. And at the end, I'm also going to share with you 10 tips that will put you in this 5% of traders. That's all proven by statistics. So the reality is day trading is very difficult. And I know why most people get into day trading is because they're looking for time freedom. They're looking for financial freedom, and they have some friend or somebody online that they see that says that, hey, you could literally make thousands or hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars by simply clicking a button. And I know this to be true actually, because I was actually just at an event this past week where I literally saw a guy make $1 million in a single day, literally by clicking buttons. But it's really not that easy. So what does it actually take to break away from this 95% and join the 5%? Well, first things first is you need to have a clear goal on what it is that you're ultimately looking to get out of trading. Are you looking to just make a little bit of income so that way you can have some fun doing something? Are you retired and you want to just trade your retirement funds and make a little bit of money and do something to keep you active? Are you somebody that is looking to pay the bills with your trading profits? Are you looking to quit a job? Are you looking to create ultimate financial freedom with trading? Are you looking to become a millionaire? First things first is get clear on what your goal is, and then not only get clear on it, but actually get compelling reasons for why it's important for you to actually achieve this goal. Because it's great that you set a goal, but ultimately, if you're not emotionally invested, if you're not enthralled or obsessed with this idea of this vision of what your life can be like, then you're ultimately not going to follow through, because times are going to get tough. And I'm going to talk about that in a second, but times will get tough on your Forex trading journey, and that's a guaranteed. So you need to have this picture and these strong, compelling reasons why to ultimately achieve this goal. The next thing is that a lot of people think that this process is going to be easy, because technically trading is easy. It's very difficult emotionally, but it's mechanically actually quite easy. And the reality is that you're likely not going to become a great trader in a week or in a month. Likely, in order to become a great trader, like anything else, it's likely going to take you like 10,000 hours in order to really master it. Like, for example, if you see Steph Curry shooting a basketball, he's the greatest shooter that ever lived. And some people think that, hey, you know, I'm seeing this guy that's a savant. I want to go out there and I want to shoot like Steph Curry after watching him shoot a few times. It doesn't work that way. It requires daily practice and daily learning in order to become successful in anything. So if you make a decision that you're going to actually master what it takes to become a successful trader, you're going to have a longer time horizon that you're thinking on, versus if you're just coming into this thing and like, I'm just going to try it. If it doesn't work out, then no harm, no foul. You're likely not going to have any success as a trader, especially with the odds really stacked against you being in the 95%. So what are the steps that it takes to become a successful Forex trader? The first things first is that you need to go through this learning phase. And the way that I like to do it whenever I like to learn something new is I like to go through like really deep immersion, where like for several days or a week, literally all I'm doing is totally immersing myself in a subject or in a topic and not thinking about anything else, because this is the way that you'll be able to learn and master things quickest. Like, for example, if you get, if you just study Spanish, 1 hour per day, 5 days a week, and you study it for like, 3 years, you'll get some understanding of the language, versus if you get dropped like in the middle of Mexico and you need to learn how to speak Spanish, or you're not going to be able to eat, then you're going to learn Spanish a lot quicker when you immerse yourself in that. So first things first is you need to go through some sort of immersion where you're dedicating like an entire weekend or 2-3 days where you're not doing anything but learning the basics, the language of Forex trading. We've created some really awesome beginner courses here for you guys for free on YouTube. They're like 2, 3, 4, 5-minute videos, really short, broken down. You'll literally learn everything A through Z. You could also go to babypips.com if you'd prefer to read. Either one is going to be great, but immerse yourself first things first. Now, after immersing and learning the basics and the lingo, the next thing that you want to do is you actually want to trade a demo account. And Here's the reason why you want to trade a demo account, because you don't want to do stupid things like I've done, for example, where when I first started trading Forex, I joined this group where I was trading with this supposed guru. I funded my live account with like $10,000. And on my very first trade ever, I literally lost $10,000 in the matter of like 4 hours. Okay, so even if you're trading with some guru or you think you have the best strategy of all time or whatever the case is, do not start with live funds. I promise you, this is one tip alone is going to save you lots and lots of money. So you want to trade on a demo account to start, and you want to trade that for at least a month or at least 20 trades with your specific strategy following rules. Only until you've done 20 trades or traded for at least a month, then go on out and trade a small live account. Do not move to the small live account until you've traded the demo. After you trade the demo account, the small account, then you can move on to the actual size account that you want to trade. But you want to start on a small account first, because when you actually have real money on the line, you think differently. You actually have emotions involved. When you're trading a paper trading or trading a demo account, you don't. So you want to go through this progression before ultimately trading a live account. Trust me, this little process will literally save you thousands and thousands of dollars, especially if you're first getting started. The next thing that you need to understand is that everyone's going to have their own timeline. You know, some people, they may pick it up really quickly, and in like literally a month, they can really master this and really start to become quite successful. If you look at somebody, people that are, from engineering backgrounds, or they're from statistic backgrounds, or they're like poker players, they'll understand already how to think in probabilities, and the learning curve will be a lot shorter versus somebody that is not well versed in thinking in statistics and probabilities. It's also important to understand that there are no get-rich-quick schemes out there. And I know this to be true because I personally have fallen for countless get-rich-quick schemes throughout my years trying to make a buck or trying to get rich. And ultimately, nothing is really out there that's going to work that's a get-rich-quick scheme. So you need to just stop falling for these and instead just make the decision right now to commit to actually becoming a master and putting in your 10,000 hours at becoming a successful trader. And yes, this is going to cause you to sacrifice things. You're going to have to allocate time that you spent doing other things and spent it to becoming a successful trader and this learning process and the trading process. The average person spends like 4 hours a day on their phone. A lot of people spend 2 to 3 hours a day just on social media alone. So take 2 or 3 hours, or maybe just an hour from what you're already doing, reallocate it to a skill that could literally pay you for the rest of your life. But it is going to take effort, and it is going to take sacrifice on your end. Now, here's the way to shortcut the learning curve the fastest. The best way to shortcut the learning curve is to model success. Success leaves clues. And if somebody else has been successful in anything, if you can model exactly what they're doing, exactly how they're thinking, then you too can become successful a lot quicker. And this is how I learned skills a lot quicker, is by doing immersion and then also modeling success or finding some sort of coach or mentor. For example, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with playing ping pong. I wanted to be the best in my neighborhood. I wanted to beat all the dads, all this sort of stuff. And so instead of learning from my peers and people that I was playing with, I actually went to the best of the best. I bought this DVD called Success in Table Tennis. It was Olympic champions that were teaching you how to play table tennis. And all I did is I modeled exactly what they were telling me, exactly what to do. And ultimately, I became the best table tennis player in my neighborhood. And I'd done this for a lot of different things. When I wanted to learn business, when I wanted to learn marketing, when I wanted to learn trading, what I did is I went and I actually hired a coach, somebody that had the results that I wanted to, so I could shortcut the learning curve. And while yes, it's fine to try to learn things for free on YouTube, the reality is, if you're not learning from one person and you're not making an investment, a financial investment to learning from somebody, then you're likely not going to take it that serious. I know when I first wanted to start learning business, when I got into business for myself, I made a really big investment at the time. It was $30,000 a year. This was money that I didn't have. So it was painful for me to make this sort of investment to learn from somebody that was very successful in business, that already had the results that I wanted. And because of it, it actually caused me to be a lot more dedicated because I just invested way more money than I had. And so what I recommend, if you want to shortcut the learning curve, is to learn from somebody that already has the results that you're looking for and to make a large financial investment into them, because not just for the person's time or whatever, but because you want it to be painful a little bit so that way you actually pay attention. There's this saying that I believe in that says, people that pay attention, right? And if you're a YouTuber, a free, YouTube person just watching all these free YouTube videos, you probably watch a bunch of YouTube videos this last week and probably remember very, very little. Versus if you make a large investment into learning from a coach or a mentor, you're probably more likely to listen to what they have to say. So you can invest and get coaching from, anybody, or if you want to, you can go to fundedtraderfasttrack.com and you can learn from one of the best in the world. His name's Yuya Kato. He's a 15-time funded real professional prop trader. He's from Japan. He's absolutely brilliant, and we do actually guarantee your results. So if you'd like to learn from him, fundedtraderfasttrack.com. You'll be able to trade with him live in the mornings and really shortcut that learning curve. Or if you'd like to learn from somebody else, that's totally cool too. Now, I'll say the last thing that you really need to understand in order to become a successful trader is understanding this journey. And then I'll talk about 10 quick things that'll put you in this top 5% really quickly. So most people, when they first start trading, they go through this phase where they have some sort of beginner's luck, right? Where they'll win a trade and then they'll start experiencing like this big loss. And actually, if you think about casinos and slot machines, a lot of the times their algorithms are actually programmed to get people when they first get onto the slot machine to actually experience some sort of win. So that way they actually get hooked. They believe that it's possible to make money, and then they'll spend more time searching for that next big win, which ultimately they'll end up making more money. The casino will make more money, right? So a lot of times people go through this beginner's luck where they'll win a couple trades, they'll get hooked, and then they'll have their first really, really big loss. And I know this for me and for, hundreds of other traders that I've spoken to, a lot of people will end up actually blowing their entire account, losing all of their money. And then the serious people go through this learning phase, okay? A lot of people quit during this learning phase because during this learning phase, a lot of times you're not really making money. You're learning, you're experimenting, you're testing. And again, this is why I recommend finding a coach or a mentor that can walk you through this process because it'll shortcut this learning curve a lot. And after this learning phase, this is where most people drop off. I'd say this is where 80% of people drop off. And the thing that you need to understand is that if you lose money or if you fail, failure isn't a bad thing. If you just reframe failure, instead of thinking that failure means that I lose, think about failure means that I have something that I can learn from. Failure means that I have something that I can prove upon. Then failure takes on a whole different meaning where failure means lessons. Failure repeatedly means I'm going to learn more and I'm eventually going to become successful. So the reason why 95% of people ultimately lose money is because they experience that big loss and they go through this learning phase and they realize it's hard and they end up quitting. So simply by continuing to go through this learning phase, you're like significantly more likely to actually become a successful trader. After you go through this learning phase, you'll start learning more about your psychology, how to control your emotions like fear and greed. You'll learn how to master your money management. You'll learn, how to think in probabilities and ultimately how to start trading mechanically. And I had a member in our group that wrote this, that it's actually more or less like this, where you continue to go through these cycles where you go through and you win some, you lose some, you go through this learning phase, and then you learn a bunch and you start making more. And then you go through this loss period, and then you start learning even more. And then you go through this phase where you earn a bunch, and then you go lose some, and then you learn a bunch more. And it's this continuous cycle of mastery that it really takes to become a successful Forex trader. Now, if you'd like to know 10 tips that are statistically proven that'll put you in this 5% of successful traders, then check out the video on the screen right now.